Hello, good morning, and welcome to Joy News Interactive here on the Joy News channel on Multi TV, on DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 144 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're Joy News on TV, on YouTube, we're my Joy Online TV. I'm Apita CBD. Thank you so much for your company. Now, the Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs Minister, Samuel Kofi Damase, has announced government has the intention to build a national shrine for traditional leaders. Addressing the media on Wednesday, Mr. Kofi disclosed that some traditional groups have petitioned his ministry for the construction of a national shrine, which he said is being constructed or considered by the government, I beg your pardon. He was of the view that the construction of a shrine is a step in the right direction, since Christian and Islamic faiths in the country will have a national cathedral and mosque respectively. You've been reacting to this on our Facebook page. Let's see what you have been saying. This one is from Matt Salom, who says, in the world of science and technology, this is our priority as a country. Well, he's asking a question. And Nana Kwabana Ode says, the very day that the government does this, that will be the end. Mubarak Muhammad Yarani says, after this, say people to, we want a national nights club. Mbami Kwame Richie says, let's put this through a referendum, and I bet you 75% will opt for a national watcher joint rather. Ms. Paris says, are we really serious as a country? Are we really serious? Are we? Lawrence says, no disrespect to our traditional leaders, but the government should not misbehave. Immortal Redeemer says, confused government, do fast and discharge, I beg. Brakraj Coin says, I love my country, la. One day, one comic story. Yalbi Juicy says, very disappointed for voting for this government. Okay. And Manuel Sai says, this government is the one, the most, ... Noah Akotia says, Ghana, our beloved country, is ruined forever. And he put like a crying emoji. Mami Sewa says, so every morning, this country must give you something to be upset with and ruin your day. As today in some parts of Ghana, when the weather changes and thunder roars, people just pray they survive just a downpour. That's the reality. And you have leaders thinking of how to impress some gods. No disrespect, but we are not angry enough. McCaffrey says, all these ones call themselves leaders and they think they have the vision. Brad Divine says, how can one person worship two gods at the same time? You're building a national cathedral and at the same time you're building a national shrine. How? Is Nanado that confused? That's what Brad Divine is asking, if the president is confused. Husseini says, if the Christians thought the government was doing this to honor God, they should now be revising their notes. A giant shrine will be next to the cathedral, as promised by the minister. Well, not promised per se, but they are considering it. God have mercy on us. That's what he says. Charles says, truly speaking, God is not even happy with this so-called cathedral. And now another plan to build shrine. For which gods? And I must say that I started running diarrhea since the day I heard of the plan of government to build a shrine. And now my doctor just told me there's no drugs for my diarrhea. Oh, what have we got? Where have we gone wrong as a country? Charles is crying, guys. Gerald Anthony says, when form is preferred to substance, outward beauty eclipses inner beauty. How can we neglect human welfare for structures? Don't you know that you are the temple of God and God dwells in you? All right, so he continues to give us saying that we're making God angry for misplaced priority, which neglects his children. All right, so the last one I'm taking is from Evans, who says, "Oh God, why did you create me among cursed and insensitive people? From a national cathedral to a national shrine." Now, there have been a number of calls on government to decriminalize petty or minor offences and allow for fines and communal labour as punishment. Now, petty offences have existed as part of the criminal law of England and were incorporated in the laws of Ghana following its colonisation. Now, modern trends in governance, human rights and the rule of law have triggered reforms in the criminal law of a number of countries. Law reforms towards decriminalisation of petty offences are just like that. Our prisons are congested and as a result increasing the poor state of health in our correctional facilities. Meanwhile, there are a lot of sanitation and other challenges that people commit minor offences can be made to do. Now, speaking to Kojo Langston on the pulse was the Greater Accra Regional Director of SHRAJ, Mary Nate, and the Project Officer of the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative.
Is the state. And when we talk of the state, we are looking at institutions such as the Ages Department, who will be called upon to draft and review the law. We are looking at Parliament, which represents the people on the ground, and the fact that they make laws, and it is their responsibility to review the law. And also we are calling on citizenry to also partner us to make the call a wider one, because it will take everyone to come to the point and realization that these petty offenses, which we may come in shortly to tell who they are and what they are and what they do to us as a society, we're calling on Parliament, we are calling on government, we're calling on institutions responsible for law reforms and what have you to help us change the status quo.
All right, so you're right. We will be talking about the specific offences that we want addressed. But first, let me touch on the event coming up, the talk. Why did we decide to use this opportunity to cast a light on this matter of all the issues we could discuss?
Right, just as Mary said, there has been an ongoing campaign already to decriminalize petty offences in Ghana. And the campaign has been ongoing with the help of media, with civil society. However, we've realized that there's the need to amplify, there's a need to, make a lot more people aware of the campaign to decriminalize petty or minor offences in Ghana. And that is why we've decided to have this event on November 27th to, shed more light and make more people aware of this. Just because it's not just a Ghana event, actually, Kojo. It's an Africa-wide campaign. As far back as 2003, we were asking why have it taken so long. As far back as 2003, there was a Pan-African conference on penal and prison reform, which recommended that prisons in Africa are overcrowded, and so they ought to be, the prison population must be reduced. And so in 2017, the Africa Union adopted the principles that indeed all African countries should work towards reducing their, decriminalizing petty offences to reduce prison populations. And so it's an Africa-wide campaign, not just Ghana. A number of countries in Africa actually have decriminalized petty offences, and so Ghana hasn't, and that is why we are trying to raise the awareness. We are trying to tell the state that indeed there's a lot that ought to be done to decriminalize petty offences, reduce prison population, and there are a number of alternatives to custodial sentencing, sending people to jail. There are alternatives when they commit minor offences. So as Mary said, I think we'll discuss it.
Indeed. So first, let's
add a little. The law is dynamic, and over the years, the law has developed. If you look at human rights tenets and human rights treaties and principles, standards, where the state has actually signed on to, most of these standards frown upon what we have in our law currently. And even looking at our Constitution, the Bill of Rights under Chapter 5 of the 1992 Constitution, there are lots of human rights provisions there which are not in tandem with the Criminal Law Act 29 as it is now. And therefore, the state is actually not obliging under our responsibility under international human rights law. And therefore, it's very important that we do such an exercise.
Right. Okay, so let's get specific. What are some of these offences that you're thinking ought not attract custodial sentences?
Okay, what we are saying is that the criminal law is important. Nobody is ruling out the fact because it ensures social control, order in society. However, the law has been, let's say, divided into two parts: serious offenses and then minor offenses, what we call the misdemeanors. And we are saying that some of these misdemeanors, the punishment attached to it is what makes it minor. Because it's either you pay a fine or you go to prison less than 3 years, you understand, or the maximum being 3 years. These offenses normally cover public moral issues, public decency and all. You look at the issue of prostitution, brothel, operating a brothel, look at issue of habitual drunkenness, issue of loitering, issue of hawking, and a whole lot. These are all nuisance situations. They are all offenses which are minor and which could be done away with because, or even perpetrators could be given alternative sentencing than custodial sentences. Look at the prisons and look at what is going on. The right to dignity, the right to human dignity. Look at how they are sleeping. Look at the food they are eating, the environment and all. It violates the person's right to dignity, and we are saying that is improper. We should have a look.
Now, on Facebook, we're asking you what your thoughts are on decriminalizing petty or minor offenses, and do you think we should allow for fines and communal labor as punishment? And this is what you have been saying. Prince K says, perfect, let offenders clean gutters and do other sanitation works in the city. Adam Ofekobi says, we are even far behind time on the subject matter. All right. Kenzie Papa says, fines will boost revenue collection and communal labor or community work will reduce money we spend on sanitation. So I support it 100%. Christiana says, it's 100% support. Let's not forget that some people are in jail because they could not pay the fines. Those who can pay should be fined. How do we know them? Someone caught for stealing plantain cannot pay a fine of 1,000 Ghana cedis, and that is just common sense. Forge Rani says, I've been always fighting for that cause. Simple offenses, stealing of goats, farm produce should be fined, or the offenders made to work with supervision. That will even reduce the people in prison. Emmanuel Tay Jr. says, excellent idea. We're too quick to hand hefty custodial sentences to people we suspect of petty crimes. These people may even be innocent if fairness and judicial perfection were to be applied, and we spend money taking care of them anyways. More so, the manner we treat them turns the least implacable inmates into hardened criminals by their mere interface with the criminal justice system. Okay, if there was ever a better way to bring equity and decongest our sardine-packed prisons, this is the time. Thomas says, it's long overdue, we are behind. What do we gain by locking up people and feeding them on top for committing petty offenses instead of getting some money from them or making them tidy up their environments? Ahaji Alva says, perfecto, we spend so much to punish irrelevant crimes. Opoku Francis says, I prefer communal labor punishment and it will serve rights to others. For example, seeing your MP or a very respected person weeding or sweeping around. Wow. Adam says, the topic on the table is a brilliant one, but it will take databases and platforms to be established. Countries where these kind of punishments are known has effective and valid monitoring systems so that the offender can't escape or hide. Louis Asante says it's a good idea, but fear is that it will end up in individual pockets. Okay, so the money, if they are fined, will end up in individual pockets. And Kofi Bredu says it will go a long way to decongest our courts, court books, and our prisons and cells. Kofi says it's long overdue. overhaul is needed for a justice system that promotes fair treatment, service to society, and development of felons. This one is from @GH Stephen, and he says fines will boost the revenue in the country and communal labor will help to reduce the government costs in sanitation. So I support it 100%. On that note, I'm going to take a quick breather. We'll be back with more. Welcome back from the breather. Now, the 2020 Grammy nominations were announced yesterday, and it looks to be standout year for African artists. Burna Boy has earned his first ever nomination in the Best World Music category for his celebrated album African Giants. Now, speaking to Grammy.com about the vision for the album back in August, the artist said his vision is just to shine a light on a place and on people and a situation and everything that there hasn't been a light on for a long time. He took over the Twitter trends. Let's see some of those tweets. All right, this one is from Burna Boy himself, and he says, African Giants is a Grammy nominated. It's been a crazy day, so grateful. Special shout out to everyone on the album, from the producers to co-producers to featured artists to the engineers. I appreciate all the input to making this album. All right, @White Nigerian says, making Africa proud, @Burna Boy. @Leon Balgon says, best day, congrats, #African Giants, #Burna Boy. All right, the last tweet I'm taking is from @IamDuToDton. Hustle. So your name will not be an alias for a Grammy nominee. For example, Burna Boy, aka African Giant. I repeat, hustle. So his album, African Giants, has been nominated. Well, let's listen to one of the songs from the album titled African Giants.
Tell them Africa, we don't die. So here comes the African Giant. Many people don't try. But you can't test the African Giant. Give me your more logo. You know get the person when you know, making them loco. Oh no, making it they do like go. Nobody do it better than me. Can nobody do it better? Check a man see, I know say one day he go better, go carry Grammy. Because anything way better require planning. Don't be, nothing you can do. Because God did not go give you more than you can undo. Now so them mama go holla, ebelebebo. Now so them papa go holla, ebelebebo. Obodo denu go chim chim. 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 Obodo denu go chim chim.
All right, so that's Burna Boy's African Giants. But let's throw back, since it's Thursday, to when Mama Burna picked up his BET award.
Thank you. This Mama Burna right here, y'all.
He must be the most restless person I ever met. He was here right now. Okay. Thank you very much, BET. Thank you, Africa, because that's the constituency for which we got noticed in the first place. And the message from Burna, I believe, would be that every black person should please remember that you were Africans before you became anything else. Thank you.
All right, so congratulations to Burna Boy, and we hope he brings that Grammy home. Now, before we leave you, here's our video of the day.
Obadana, they come to the house. And even that, by grace. Oh my, oh my.
Ah, Akuma. Akuma.
Yeah. Hi, baby.
Hi, Akuma.
Whoa.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Ah, Akuma.
Hello.
Charlie.
Obadana, they come to the house. And even that, by grace. Oh my, oh my.
Ah, Akuma. Akuma.
Yeah. Hi, baby.
Hi, Akuma.
Whoa.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Ah, Akuma.
Akuma Mamazimbi there, ending Journeys Interactive here on DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 144 on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram where Journeys on TV. You can also catch us on YouTube where My Joy Online TV. I am Apita CBD. Enjoy the rest of your day.